Hello everybody and welcome to a special St. Thomas episode here on NCAA 14, where we take a look at the season stats for our Tommies for the season, as well as dabble into the highlights for this year as well for the squad. So it's going to be an exciting one. Make sure you smash that like button as well as subscribe to the channel as well if you happen to be brand new, because I truly appreciate it. Now, taking a look at some of these stats for the season, we're going to start with our quarterbacks, and it was a lot of throwing that took place. Jesse Wallen was our starting quarterback. He had close to 3,000 yards passing, but he didn't get into the end zone very often. He only had 7 touchdowns versus 22 interceptions, which was slightly better than what Desi Lindsay was able to pull off last year. Well, not exactly. He threw 12 picks, but I know there was a lot of picks thrown last year. But we had more consistency at the quarterback position overall at the very least, and we moved the ball between the 20s. We just struggled at times to actually put the ball in the end zone. Our rushing game, unsurprisingly, was atrocious as well. Jesse Wallen actually had the most carries for our squad, and even then, it wasn't a lot. He only had 110 carries throughout the entire season, and he had over 400 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns on the ground, which is pretty impressive always for a quarterback. John Christensen, when he got an opportunity, he was pretty solid too. 102 carries for 364 yards, also a couple touchdowns on the ground. We also had Andrew Henderson as well as Desi Lindsay score a few touchdowns for us using that running game as well whenever we happen to get into the red zone, of course. Our receivers, man, we threw the ball a lot and our receivers benefited from it. Kevin Stone was our leading receiver for the season. He had 57 catches for over 600 yards, although unfortunately he did not get into the end zone. But he was our most reliable receiver, I would say. Most catches, and then he also had the most receiving yards as well, so good on him for that. The person that did lead us in receiving touchdowns this season, though, belongs to John Christensen. He had 3 such touchdowns. It made up for almost half of our passing touchdowns this entire season. And he also had 267 yards off of 48 catches. Desi Lindsay was also the only one with multiple TD grabs, with Mark McDaniel and Jonathan Marks, the backup corner. He usually is known for the defense, but was able to come through on offense sometimes too. They both scored touchdowns in the air as well. Finally, taking a look at our defense, and I know our defense was torn apart at times, but we did have some bright spots throughout the season. We had 4 guys with over 50 tackles in Derek Jackson, who was a true freshman. Mark Santana, he was all over the field as well with 70 tackles. And then Joel White and Chad Parrish, the senior on the squad, the sole senior on defense, who had over 50 tackles as well. And what's beautiful is that we get these 3 guys back next season, so we should be a lot better going into season 3 on the defensive end, particularly when we're going to have a ton of continuity as well. Looking at our sack leaders, though, at times we struggled to get to the quarterback, and that was prevalent towards the end of the season. But Marlon Greenwood as well as Corey Ford both did a pretty solid job. They both got 4 sacks apiece this year. Then Brandon Turner had 3.5 sacks. Derek Jackson, Joel White, Aaron Moore, and then Blake Perry. He had half a sack, but he still helped bring a quarterback down at least once this season. So, can't blame him whatsoever. We also had a grand total of 4 interceptions this season that our defense forced, 2 of which belong to our senior Chad Parrish, so we're going to definitely miss that about him. Jeff Outlaw, he got an interception in the very beginning of the season to help us fuel our victory against FCS Northwest at the very beginning of the season, as well as Derek Jackson picking up an interception as well in that game. And then we had 3 forced fumbles. Forced fumbles were caused by Mar Santana, Jeff Jones, and Corey Fitzpatrick, with Corey Fitzpatrick and Chad Parrish each picking up a fumble. So we had a grand total of 6 turnovers forced this season. You would love to see a lot more, but it's at least a little bit in the step in the right direction nonetheless. So that's our stats for the entirety of season 2. Alright, so the Heisman Trophy winner just came across my screen, and what a surprise, and a lovely surprise to say it at that. Charles McClellan ends up winning the Heisman Trophy, a halfback from the University of Cincinnati. So shout out to those Bearcats for getting their very first Heisman winner in its school's history. Also scrolling down here to take a look at some of the bowl games that happened over the course of the season. You know, we have a mix of good ones and, well, not good ones. Ohio State, one of my favorite teams, they went to the Independence Bowl. They had a down year, but they did beat Louisville 37-17. Notre Dame, as a ranked team, went to the Rush Athletic Bowl down in Orlando and beat Georgia Tech as well. Utah, as the number 18 team in the country, beat UConn. What a 10-win season, and it was a bloody battle, it seems like, as they won by only a touchdown. It was a 14-7 game. Texas Tech won the Alamo Bowl against a fellow ranked team in Oregon, so that's a good win for Texas Tech. Florida Atlantic climbed up to number 17 in the country, but still only went to the Liberty Bowl, but did beat Northern Illinois pretty convincingly, 42-17. Auburn beat Virginia Tech in the Chick-fil-A Bowl that features both the ACC and SEC conferences, respectively. Vanderbilt beat Purdue by a very narrow margin of 27-24. Florida beat Nebraska in the Capital One Bowl by a score of 39-32. They nearly made it to the title game, but just fell short. Cincinnati, their Heisman winner McClellan wasn't able to take them over the top as they fall in the Rose Bowl 49-21 to the now number 2 ranked Florida State Seminoles. Indiana climbed up all the way up to number 3, probably the biggest surprise of this entire year. And not only that, they also beat Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl by a safety, so that's insane. Washington beat Iowa State by 4 touchdowns, no contest here. Cotton Bowl was a 10-point win for the Georgia Bulldogs against Oklahoma. Stanford beat Michigan pretty well. Michigan usually chokes big games, you know, Jim Harbaugh reputation, if I say so myself. And then finally in the BCS championship game, we had some SEC bias. Alabama took on Tennessee, and Alabama won by a field goal. Tennessee actually fell to number 7. I don't think they should have fell that far, considering they were in the championship game and only lost by a field goal. But Alabama is your national championship in this season. Whoa, so check this out. We actually get fired again. So that's a very tough thing to see. So we're gonna have to figure out who our new coach is gonna be once again. I don't know why we won a couple of games. I don't know how we fell to the hot seat so quickly. But it looks like Mac Johnson, after 1 season, is going to get the boot. And so we will be looking for a brand new head coach this season. So now we look towards a brand new head coach for this football team in Kevin DeBoer. He is a 48-year-old man from the University of Nebraska. That is his alma mater. What he likes to run is he likes to run a spread offense for this team, as well as run a 4-2-5 defensive scheme. So we're going to be looking a lot different, at least schematically, than what we did back in Season 2 and especially in Season 1 as well. So we have that to look forward to, and I'm pretty excited about the change. Hopefully he can put us over the top and he can actually survive for more than 1 year. Taking a look at the players who are set to graduate, we only had 3 players leaving us this year, 1 on defensive and the other 2 are on offense. Chad Parrish will be graduating, and so will Chris Bass and Adrian Thompson. We're definitely going to miss all 3 of these guys, but I wish them the best of luck though in their post-collegiate lives. So we didn't have anybody go to the NFL, unsurprisingly. That's usually what happens when you're basically a 45 overall squad and go 2-10 on the season. But we do have 1 transfer in Adam Wright. He didn't play at all in his freshman season, but he has some solid speed and some decent tackling as well. He does have to sit out a year because of the transfer rules that were in place back then, but when we get him in season 4, I can definitely see this guy in maybe the low 70s, high 60s at the very least, so he'll be a good add to our team, and I'm really excited for that. Alright, so here is another look at our final recruiting class. We're going to bring in a total of 23 guys, with one of them of course being that transfer. A couple guys I want to note is Tommy Davis and William Swan coming in at 65 and 66 overall respectively. We also have a few other guys that are gonna be on the squad, and if you want to replace any of these guys and have your own custom recruit on this team, just let me know down in the comments, and I will make sure I will replace them for you guys before the start of season 3. So let me know down in the comments and I will make it happen for you guys. But yeah, this is the recruiting class going into season 3, and even though they're all 1-stars, I'm pretty excited about the future if I say so myself. Alright, so moving on to position changes, and we got some decisions that we need to make. I think one of the first things I want to do is adjust my line a little bit. I think I'm going to move Pierre Jones to center, so that we have somebody backing up Carl Rogers that's a little bit better than David Beck, who is definitely a walk-on for sure. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I also want to move Tommy Davis, I think, over to that left guard. I know he'll take a little bit of an overall hit. He'll be a 64, but he'll also compete with Keith DeLuca for that starting spot. And then, you know, just like that, you know, we have somebody better, and either way, we'll have somebody better at that position, and it will help us solidify that line. You know, there's 69 here. We've got 64 there. Damian Thompson is a 67, and then Josh Sanders is also a 67 overall. So if Tommy Davis is our worst starting lineman, then I'm definitely okay with that, as that's just going to make our squad better. It makes me feel a lot better about our offensive line, definitely. Another thing that I want to do is I want to shift a couple of linemen around. I want to go ahead and shift both Justin Hill as well as Brett Smart over to the opposite side, the left outside linebacker, in case we, you know, do decide to bring those guys in the game, switch things up a little bit. And then another thing that I want to do is I was gonna put, you know, this is tough. I don't know what to do here. Actually, on second thought, I'm gonna move Justin Hill back over to right outside linebacker. And then we'll have 5 left outside linebackers on that side, and then we'll have 5 right outside linebackers on the other side, and then hopefully Braden Turner can step up and take that right outside linebacker spot while, you know, Joel Light holds on to the left side. But yeah, I think that's all the moves that I want to make for now, and this is what the roster is looking at. It's a pretty solid roster that we're starting to put together, and the beautiful thing is we're only in season 3 and we haven't even done training results, which we'll get into pretty shortly actually, so let's go and check those out. Alright, so here's the results of that training with the squad, and you know, Julian McAfee, you know, he's going to be our first 80 overall player. He's going to be an 80 overall. Not anybody else really shot up too terribly much, unfortunately. I was hoping for a little bit more progress from the squad, but at the very least, you know, we'll be a little bit better than what we were in the previous season, and hopefully in return that means we get more wins, more than 2, and we can actually keep a coach for more than 1 season. That's also would be really nice to see for sure as well. Alright, so we had an insane number of people to cut since we didn't have too many people leave, and we had a huge recruiting class. We had 20 people that we had to cut, but we finally did it. So let's check out the starters for season 3. Season 3, we are going to have Jesse Walden starting for us once again, this time at a 67 overall, with Desi Lindsay and Bo Hall backing him up. At halfback, we'll have John Christensen starting with Denny Dilkins back from his red shirt, so we'll get to see him back on the field again. A custom recruit from season 1. Fullback will have Andrew Henderson while having Trent Noonan back him up. Your two top receivers are going to be Kevin Stone and Chad McKenzie once again. But we'll see. Keep an eye out for Tim Smith. He's going to be our fourth receiver, and he can definitely pop out at any time. Has some solid speed as well as some decent catching abilities as well, which we always need the ability to catch the football. As starting tight end, Freddie Gibson is making his way back. He's at 50 overall now. Left tackle is going to be Justin Spicer, who is at 73 overall. Tommy Davis is starting. He did win the starting job over Keith DeLuca. Tommy Davis will be at 64 overall. At center, we'll have Carl Rogers, entering the middle with true freshman Pierre Jones backing him up. Right guard, we'll have Damian Thompson. He's going to be a 72 overall with Matt Williams and Noah Cox behind him. Right tackle is Josh Sanders. He's our last offensive player I want to talk about. He is a 71 overall, and he actually does progress really quickly, which is really cool to see as well. So you definitely love to see that. At left end, we have Josh Parker going into our defense. Of course, he's at 67 overall. We get him ready to go. He, I believe, was a transfer from season 2. I want to say, no, we actually brought him in as a recruit. That's right, that was a thing. But Josh Parker is on the squad. And then William Swan is a 65 overall. So that means Josh Parker was actually transferred from between season 1 and season 2. You know, it's been a while since I seen the transfers. So, but you know, William Swan and Josh Parker are going to be your starters for this season. Defensive tackle will have Corey Ford and Aaron Moore both see significant playing time as starters respectively. Roger Bryant, I'll probably redshirt when it's all said and done, so that means Glenn Robertson and Jim Reed should be seeing significant time as backups defensive tackle. Adam Wright is a transfer, so we won't really see him out on the field, but Joel White you'll see once again. He's a 62 overall, and you'll be seeing plenty of him out there. Derek Jackson, of course, is a fixture on defense. He's a 63. Brandon Turner is our other linebacker at 53 overall, with Justin Hill back and Jermaine Horn backing him up closely. At corners, we have a ton of corners, so I'm probably going to be redshirting a good number of these guys. Corey Fitzpatrick and Aaron Rodgers are both going to be starting. Jared Adam and Andre Wade, as well as there might be one other corner, but it looks like this is the whole list. So Jared Adam and Andre Wade, I'm probably going to redshirt as well. Just a heads up there. Free safety, we have Matt Gent replacing Chad Parrish, the beloved safety of this team. He's a senior on the squad. He's the only new starter on defense, and he's a 60 overall with Michael Edwards and Mark Corbett backing him up. Strong safety, we have Marv Santana. He's going to be an anchor for us on defense with that 73 overall. Billy Mitchell, of course, will get redshirt since he's a 5th string, but he's still on the squad nonetheless. So that's pretty nice to see. Kicker, of course, is Julian McAfee. He's going to be the best player on our team. He's an 84 overall. And then at punter, we have Justin Little. He's a 68 overall from Kentucky. So that's going to be your squad going into season 3. And I can't wait to get after it. Alright, so now that we made it through cuts, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule for Season 3. We start off with a pretty nice slate of games. We have home games against Old Dominion, Tulane, who beat us badly last year, but hopefully we can get some payback. Play Buffalo at home, as well as play Louisville at home. Then we'll have a bye during Week 5, and then we'll be on the road against Texas State and Kentucky. Play North Texas at our stadium, then play Mid Tennessee State on the road as well. And then we'll play Rutgers at home. Play South Carolina and Iowa on the road. 3 consecutive Power 5 opponents, because we finish up with California at home. So it's definitely going to be a grind, man, but I think we can definitely win more than we did last year. Matter of fact, I want to shoot for 4, maybe 5 wins. I think a bowl game is still pushing it a little bit, but I think we can get it done nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen. And then finally, this is our recruiting board to start off. We had 13 guys that are in the state of Minnesota or around the state of Minnesota that were 1-star dudes. So we got Jarrell Bullock, who is going to be one of our better players, but he's not going to be our best player though. We're going after some pretty solid guys despite their 1-star rating. Robert Williams, he's a 67 overall, at least that they're saying right now. We'll probably move over to kicker since our kicker is graduating following this season. We got Matt Williams, a 65 overall. Dave Bass, John Wilson, both are over 60 overall as well. And we do need John Wilson badly because we do have our starting quarterback graduating next season, and we only have 2 of our quarterbacks on the roster. Eric Bradshaw, Jarrell Bullock, as I already mentioned, Raymond Petty are also getting looked at, and then Drew Jackson, Mike Turner, Jason Jackson, another quarterback from Canada, Evan Kaplan, Cole Moeller, and Joe Holland are going to be rounding up the recruiting board initially. Real excited to get this season started, and I can't wait to get into it. So if you are excited as I am, make sure you hit that like button. Hit me up down in the comments below, especially if you want to have a recruit for season 3. And then if you are brand new to the channel as well, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe button, as I would truly appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time with some more college gaming content. I hope you all have a great day. Take care, everybody.